What's up, guys? Who remembers LA Lights by LA Gear? In my humble opinion, technology peaked with these cool light-up shoes. It's Jason here, and welcome to my YouTube channel Company Insight. In this video, I'm going to talk about the story behind the rise and fall of what happened to LA Gear and key lessons you can take away and apply to your life. Waiting in line for Nike or Adidas' latest limited edition drop? What about LA Gears? Probably not, even if you do remember that the Los Angeles-based shoe company is still in business today. Haven't heard of LA Gear? Well, you might have heard of Skechers. Initially popular in the 1990s due to pop stars such as Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, the shoes are immediately recognizable for their clunkiness, somehow comparable to orthopedic shoes in terms of design. I'm mentioning Skechers not only because I enjoy walking down memory lane, but also because Robert Greenberg is one of the Skechers co-founders who previously founded LA Gear in 1983 before Skechers. Greenberg came into the sneaker business from selling skates, a perfect backdrop for creating a lighthearted shoe emblematic of the beachside California lifestyle. But first, I just need a quick favor from you. If you wouldn't mind just hitting the like button for the YouTube algorithm, it would really help me out a ton. The more engagement a video like this gets, the more likely the YouTube algorithm is to push it out to more people to enjoy. And as this is a brand new channel, it helps me out a ton, and it's free to do. Thanks for doing that, and now let us continue on the rise and fall of LA Gear video. History of LA Gear. Though LA Gear seems somewhat dated now in comparison to trendy brands such as Allbirds and Jordans, once upon a time, LA Gear was once a serious contender in the shoe and lifestyle brand area. In fact, by the late 1980s, LA Gear had become the nation's third largest sneaker company. It even went public just 3 years after its founding, with sales increasing from $10 million in 1985 to more than $600 million in 1989. One of the major contributors to LA Gear's early success and household recognition was Andy Samman, its other co-founder. While Greenberg handled much of the business financials and showmanship aspect of the business, Samman handled the marketing. He struck an industry first when he created LA Gear's own in-house marketing agency, rather than outsourcing its marketing strategy and operations to an external agency. LA Gear Marketing Strategy. Unlike a lot of its competitors, LA Gear gained its early success by appealing to fashion-conscious females rather than athletic men. LA Gear shoes were fashion-forward and appealed to the 80% of customers who rarely set foot on a tennis or basketball court. The shoes were less about functionality than about looking nice and being a fashion trendsetter. Think Paula Abdul's fitness videos of that era, and you're conjuring the audience that LA Gear was targeting, and targeting rather successfully. As John Horan, publisher of Sports Management News, told Advertising Age in 1989, they take a shoe that's not a real technical shoe, but not expensive to produce, put some spangles and some color trim on it, and are thus able to put their money into marketing and advertising. With the emphasis on flashy, who better to represent the brand than Michael Jackson, who landed a $20 million endorsement deal? Just one of its celebrity endorsements, LA Gear even went so far as to launch a Billie Jean sneaker in 1990. Flashy with studs and multiple buckles, the black Billie Jean sneakers were perhaps the beginning of LA Gear's decline. LA Gear and Michael Jackson. The shoes were a costly and dismal failure. In sharp contrast to the success of Michael Jackson's single Billie Jean, the sneakers were rejected by consumers as impractical and overly glitzy to the point of being tacky. LA Gear's heavy reliance on Michael Jackson, a pop icon better known for his dance moves than his fitness moves, reflected LA Gear's marketing missteps. It turned out that although consumers appreciated Michael Jackson's musical prowess, they didn't have a lot of faith in his choice of leisurely sneakers. Samman's decision to veer away from earlier endorsements with basketball stars such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone in pursuit of a general pop culture symbol is testament to the fact that irrelevant marketing more often than not does not work. This is especially true when a brand names itself after a city that is synonymous with an upscale, sunny lifestyle. What do many people think about when they think of Los Angeles? Palm trees, posh places like Beverly Hills, and the surfer lifestyle. Having named their brand LA Gear, Greenberg and Saman were intentional about what they wanted people to envision when they thought of LA Gear. They wanted the brand to be sporty and premium. Women in the know wore the shoes while living the lifestyle of a Los Angeles yuppie. LA Gear catapult to disaster. For a brand that wanted to conjure a premium image, LA Gear experienced a major setback when it had the opportunity to get its shoes on the feet of the entire Marquette University basketball team. With such high visibility, extra attention would be paid to the look, feel, and quality of the shoes, right? Wrong.
They were wrong. And were they wrong?
Are they wrong?
I think they're wrong 100%. Sometimes they're wrong. They were wrong. Sometimes they're wrong.
A player tripped on his shoe sole as his LA Gear Catapult line of shoes literally fell apart. Can you believe it? Not shockingly, this 99-cent store quality did not mesh well with LA Gear's posh branding, which would only face further struggles as the 80s gave way to the 90s. Everything changes with the times, and fashion is no different. The bubbly fitness craze of the 1980s gave way to a cultural and fashion scene divided between the teenage bubblegum of Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again pigtails, and the grungy angst of Nirvana's fashionably unkempt appearance. Between flannel shirts and bucket hats, LA Gear had a difficult time positioning itself. On the one hand, it desperately wanted to recoup on the lackluster but expensive endorsement with Michael Jackson, and on the other hand, they wanted to retain its upscale image. Unfortunately for the company, those competing concerns were mutually exclusive. Initially, LA Gear was able to capitalize on its bright-colored high-top shoes just as the 1990s began. Part of its ability to hold on to its lead at first was its scaling. Previously available at mostly high-end shops such as Nordstrom, LA Gear began to be available at discount stores such as the now-defunct Caldor department store. It expanded its reach. However, at the same time, it diluted the exclusivity of the brand. LA Gear marketing fail. In addition, because LA Gear had started off with such a bang, the company had very optimistic sales projections. When it couldn't meet the high expectations it had for itself with lower sales as trends slowly began to change, inventory started piling up. Rather than burn their dead stock, LA Gear took the route of discounting almost all of their shoe lines. Premium retailers who had agreed to stock LA Gear because of its lofty image were turned off and angered by the now cutthroat discounting that made their own prices seem unreasonably high. In other words, LA Gear undercut its own distributors. By 1991, as a result of LA Gear's marketing falling flat and retailers now refusing to actually allocate shelf space to LA Gear shoes, the company faced a $66 million net loss. LA Gear at Walmart? In 1995, LA Gear seemed to take a throw-it-at-the-wall approach. That year, it ditched its premium image to stay competitive by signing a 3-year contract with everyone's favorite discount chain, Walmart. Isn't this crazy? The company agreed to make shoes specific and exclusive to Walmart, and Walmart agreed to buy at least $80 million in LA Gear shoes. With this, LA Gear unofficially tried to relaunch itself as the low-budget, accessible shoe that could be found everywhere, even at Walmart. Despite the allure and promise of Walmart having so many physical locations to showcase the shoes, LA Gear's partnership with the chain fell flat. LA Gear drifted. Its marketing and business strategy, its management. As the realization that the Walmart partnership was not going according to plan, LA Gear abandoned the idea of further creating men's athletic shoes. Instead, it intended to try its luck at women's and youth shoes. Even in 1994, the company sought to acquire a company that already specialized in its new source of focus. What company better than Ryka, a shoe company that focused exclusively on women's sports shoes? Despite the seemingly perfect fit, unfortunately LA Gear had to abandon these plans because it turned out Ryka was in even more dire straits than themselves. New management at LA Gear and Trefoil Capital. With both Ryka and Walmart no longer possible lifelines for LA Gear, it should come as no surprise that in 1998 the company filed for bankruptcy. This came after LA Gear faced 2 quarterly losses in 1991 that resulted in the company defaulting on its bank debt twice with Bank of America. Despite the injection of $100 million into LA Gear by Trefoil Capital, a company with a track record of having successfully turned around floundering businesses, LA Gear continued to decline.
I declare
Bankruptcy!
Trefoil Capital itself may have contributed to its continued decline as the capital firm selected new management, as well as the board of directors. Both co-founders, Greenberg and Seaman, eventually ended up resigning. Trefoil Capital entrusted LA Gear's leadership to Mark Goldstein, a former Reebok C-level executive. While the initial management change held the possibility of being a welcome change, it proved to be a sign of things to come. Rapid management change as Trefoil went through 3 different leadership teams in only 6 years. Eventually, what had worked for Reebok did not work for LA Gear because only 2 years after being hired, in 1993, Goldstein was on his way out and William Benford was taking reins of the company. It seemed like a stellar decision since Benford had already been CFO of LA Gear when Goldstein was CEO. Presumably, he had clear ideas about how to salvage the company. Unfortunately for Benford, he led the company as it failed with its Walmart partnership and he inevitably took the blame. His failure with Walmart then resulted in another leader from within the company, Bruce McGregor, former president of marketing, being exalted to president of LA Gear overall. Unlike his 2 predecessors, McGregor took a sharp U-turn and decided that LA Gear's brand was beyond salvage as a result of its many snafus in the limelight. All of LA Gear's joint ventures were discontinued and it tried to sell its products internationally to take advantage of its newness factor outside the United States. Nothing stuck. This all begs the question of how abysmal did it actually turn out for Trefoil? Well, they ended up selling their $100 million stake for $228,000 in 1997. This all begs the question, who should we feel worse for? Greenberg and Seaman for being ousted from the company they had co-founded, or Trefoil? I'll leave that up to you to make the call. Brand identity conclusion. Well, with LA Gear having now slipped into the realms of semi-obscurity, what can we actually learn? One standout lesson is that brand identity is extremely important. LA Gear is the perfect case study of brand identity. There's definitely a difficult juggling act when trying to maintain brand integrity and appeal to your core customer base, while also trying to reach new customers and adapt to changing trends. Knowing what your core product and audience is and refashioning it for times is a painstaking business, but as still successful brands such as Nike and Adidas have shown, adapting to new fads is key to staying relevant and hip most of the time. While there are peaks and dips in most businesses, as long as you're still at the top of people's minds, when it comes time for them to buy in your product category, then you're still a contender. Another important lesson for all current and aspiring entrepreneurs is understanding and mastering how to market your core audience. Today's world is more interconnected than ever, with YouTube stars becoming business owners offline as well, and sports and music stars becoming entrepreneurs in the field that made them famous. Like Tom Brady and TB12 supplements and exercise equipment, or Gwyneth Paltrow with Goop. With that said, it's still important to realize that despite all these crossovers, businesses tend to thrive when focusing on what they're already known for doing well and associating themselves with people who are famous for related fields. Did it make sense for LA Gear to spend so much money on a collaboration with Michael Jackson, a celebrity best known for singing and dancing? It's not far-fetched, but perhaps they would have been better served by collaborating with celebrities in the vein of Paula Abdul, the epitome of the California sunshine, energy, and fitness that initially drove LA Gear's surge in popularity. Though LA Gear is still around, its most recent annual revenue is estimated at $1.7 million by Owler.com, and they're only distributed at Payless shoe stores. To put this in context, Nike's estimated annual revenue was $38.3 billion, Adidas was $4.9 billion, and Vans at $3.2 billion. LA Gear is a story of going from premium to Payless. Although they brought in new creative director Alexander John just last month, with almost 2 decades of being a second-rate shoe company, I'm not hopeful that LA Gear will be the next big thing again anytime soon.
I don't think so, homeboy.
What do you think? So with that said, thank you so much for watching my video. There was a significant amount of research and production that went into making this video possible, so if you wouldn't mind giving the video a like and leaving a comment in the YouTube section below, it would really help out a lot. I'm proud to say that if you made it this far in this video, you're now one of the most knowledgeable experts in the entire world on LA gear.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Let's do this.
Congratulations! Be sure to check out some of my other videos like the Rise and Fall of New York and the Rise and Fall of Discovery Zone from the 90s. Thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for another episode of Company Insight next week.